Hi, Claudia. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. So, Anna, let's dive right into this. So tell the folks, a little bit about yourself before we go on with today's episode.
Well, I'm a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an English teacher. I teach
Mm-hmm.
adults at
Mm-hmm.
two schools,
Uh-huh.
and I'm also a freelance writer.
Uh-huh.
I was born and raised here in Montreal. I'm
Mm-hmm.
of Italian origin,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm working on a couple of new projects.
Nice. Okay. So you're a teacher and you're a freelance writer. So let's get into a little bit of the freelance writer here.
Mhm.
Does it is it taken from you teaching every day, or is it like ideas that you had for a while and you teaching people helps you develop the freelance writing style?
Actually, my teaching and my writing is kind of like separate.
Mhm.
I would say that my personal life
Mhm.
is mostly inspired from my writing.
Okay.
Um, that doesn't take away the creative process from my teaching,
Mhm.
but I wouldn't say that I'm being inspired by my teaching.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
cool, cool. So, all right, so let's talk a little. Again, we're gonna focus mostly on your, freelance writing. So what kind of freelance writing did you do, or going to do, or working at the moment?
Okay, so I originally started as a poet.
Mm-hmm.
As a teenager, I used to write a lot of poetry.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that's my first passion.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started experimenting with fiction and nonfiction short story writing,
Okay, beautiful.
which was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually wrote my first play,
Okay.
and it was presented this year
Mm-hmm.
at Casa d'Italia.
Beautiful.
So that was my first experience as a playwright.
Awesome, awesome. And what kind of work, have you started doing?
You mean as of late,
Yeah,
like
as
recently?
everything. Yeah, going from the writing short stories to writing plays, collaborating.
Hmm. Well, when I wrote my first play,
Mm-hmm.
it was a tribute to my father,
Okay.
who had passed away 5 years ago. So it was
Sorry to
more of
hear.
a tribute.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
thank you. So it was a partly biographical piece.
Okay.
The one that I'm working on right now is partly autobiographical,
Okay.
and it takes place during the early pandemic times.
Mm-hmm.
So it specifically takes place from May to July 2020.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. And so you're mentioning these plays are, semi autobiographical. So how do you come up with these, with these ideas? Like, when you sit in front of a laptop, like, and you're trying to develop a story, is it something like, this happened to me, and you believe you want to put that into writing, or is it just something that just comes natural to you, and you're like, I definitely have to write this story?
I would have to say that there is kind of like a common experience
Okay.
throughout all my writings. I would
Mhm.
have to say that it is a muse.
Okay.
I am inspired.
Okay.
I mean, it started with poetry,
Okay.
and there's always a message that I would like to deliver to the
Uh-huh.
world, or to the audience,
Uh-huh.
whoever it is.
Mhm.
And usually, this message is always about the human experience, and it's
Mhm.
always coming from a humanistic perspective, but
Yes.
also I would have to say a socio-feminist perspective.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
me as a woman.
Okay. Okay. Cool. 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 I like where this is going. So one of the questions that actually was writing as I was reading the play, and I saw you in
Mhm.
other interviews. What I wanted to ask is, how come you would choose to do it in a play format rather than, let's say, feature film or short film format?
Ah, I was asked
Mm-hmm.
that. Actually, most people that came to La Casa and watched the play and attended the show
Mm-hmm.
actually gave me some feedback and said that either it would make a great sitcom or
Mm-hmm.
film. So I
Mm-hmm.
was proposed that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, For me, the theatrical experience is
Mm-hmm.
very different from the
Mm-hmm.
film experience.
Okay.
I think that as a writer, I identify mostly with the theatrical. Why?
Okay.
Um, for me, theater is not to take away from film in any way,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, theater has a certain presence and a certain power.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because the actors are in the moment. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's the live, that live performance for me gives the words, the nuances, the
Mm-hmm.
body language, everything
Mm-hmm.
that comes with it. It gives it
Mm-hmm.
power.
Okay, that's beautiful. That is
Yeah.
really beautiful. So let's talk. A little bit focusing. On your play. Well, I mean, no, the one you
This one?
mentioned. Yes, this one. So so what were the challenges that you were facing while you were writing this play?
Mm. Um, this play is semi autobiographical,
Okay.
and it takes place during a very difficult time, as it was for everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Actually, one of my dear friends and
Mm-hmm.
someone I worked
Mm-hmm.
with the first play,
Mm-hmm.
he was the one who said, nothing really has been done in
Uh-huh.
theater about the pandemic.
Okay.
Anna, why don't you write something about the pandemic? And I just, said,
Mm-hmm.
no, 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 I have nothing to write about.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as it always happens with most writers, the muse just hit me and
Yeah.
said, well, Anna, you
Yeah.
went through a lot
Mm-hmm.
during that time. But sometimes when we go through a lot, we
Yeah.
kind of block it out, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Uh, so it was time to unblock it and
Mm-hmm.
revisit a very challenging time in my life. So basically, I got divorced during that
Mm.
time.
Okay. Sorry.
So people who got divorced,
Mm-hmm.
all the people that got divorced during that time had to do it online
Yeah.
because we were in lockdown, right?
Yeah.
Um, we were living very uncertain times.
Uh-huh.
There was uncertainty everywhere
Mm-hmm.
for people. Some people lost their jobs. I
Yeah.
didn't as an educator,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just very difficult.
Yeah, yeah, it was. No, it was, and since brought up an important point about the lockdown. Yeah, no, everyone went through a tough time. Everybody was there. So as you're writing this, because I want to know more about play formats, because
Mhm.
well, I've been doing film and I obviously do stand up, but I want to know through a play, through a place point of view.
Mhm.
Are there any, like, when you're writing this play, or let's say like any play, right, for people out there wanting to know how to write one, um, when you're writing this play, are you imagining, sorry, the body, the body postures, the hints that they're that they have to do, are you imagining like the stage presence when you're writing these characters, these dialogues?
Okay, so let me just explain it a little bit to
Yeah,
step by step.
go ahead,
So
please.
first, you're writing the play,
Yes.
and for most writers
Mm-hmm.
who had never written a play, so if
Yes.
you have no script writing experience in the play
Mm-hmm.
format, you're just
Mm-hmm.
writing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't really understand
Mm-hmm.
how it's going to manifest on stage,
Yes.
how it's going to be brought to life. So
Yes.
uh, this is all that I learned
Mm-hmm.
via my art and creative director, Joe Kakionik.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with him on this. So this is what I learned. So here I am writing. Here
Yes.
I am creating the characters, and I imagined them in my head. But
Mm-hmm.
the stage is not there yet, right?
Yes.
So when you're on stage,
Yes.
you have a lot of things to look at. You have the mise en scène, which
Yes.
the director has to take care of,
Yeah.
but the dialogue has to
Mm-hmm.
be um, not so lengthy. So it can't be in narrative form where the actors are talking for a long time. There
So
has to be movement.
yeah, so it can be basically like a Quentin Tarantino style dialogue where it's just like every.
No,
There we go.
no. It has to
Perfect.
be, I mean, it can be, the pace has to be steady. At
Yes.
some points, it has to accelerate. There has to be tension.
Yes.
Um, the actors have to make sure on stage not to be in each other's way.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we have to bear in mind the audience's view of them. Then you have all the props, right?
Yeah.
Where do you put the props? And then when there's the fade in and the fade out, the
Mm-hmm.
transitional scenes are
Mm-hmm.
very important.
Mm-hmm.
I also, and I had a lot of fun with this.
Yes.
I chose all the music, right, to my
Okay.
play, and it's the same thing with this one. Now, the music has to match the
Obviously, yes.
dialogue, the mood, right?
Mm-hmm.
The characters have to bring to life the characters, but there has to be a certain mood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
what else is there? I think that's about it. It's
Okay.
really the props, the way the actors move on stage,
Mm-hmm.
the music,
Yeah.
the dialogue,
Yeah.
and all the transitional scenes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. No, this is beautiful. And I'm learning something every single day. So so another thing that that I'm fascinated with this is the character names, right? Because you mentioned that this is your play is biographical or
Semi
autobiographical. Yeah.
autobiographical, yes. It's
Are
about
you?
my life. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you? Are you using the names in with the people that you know, or are these names completely different?
No, I don't think that I would even be allowed to use the real names,
Okay.
right? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we want to
Okay.
keep it a little
Yeah.
bit private.
Uh-huh.
So I'm Anna, but the main character is Alina. So you all know I'm Alina. Uh,
Okay. You know what? There we go. You know what, folks? There we go. We have a big twist.
but that's okay, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
semi autobiographical.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm Alina.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so all right, so we got all this down. So do you see yourself, after after this play and that you're used to working for, let's say, play, theater and writing short stories, would you ever consider maybe possibly turning, making a short film, since you've already kind of tackled the theater world?
Oh, I think you really want to persuade me there, eh?
Maybe, maybe.
Who knows? Maybe I'll be an actress one day.
Nice. No, but no, but honestly, like when we cross paths, and and you were telling me, oh, I'm doing this play. I'm like, oh, okay, awesome. And what I found out about a lot of interviews from you, is the fact that like. Yeah, which is amazing. It's because you have different. You're a teacher and you wrote short stories, and then you're trying to tackle this theater world, which is phenomenal. And I mean, when I say this, it's like I don't mean a lot of awesome people like you.
Oh, you're
Uh,
so sweet.
Oh, no problem. Well, I am diabetic, but that's another story. but now I want to focus a little bit, because you did mention that you wrote short stories, and one of the questions I want to know is what inspired you, like what inspired you to write these short stories? We're not talking about the plays now. We're just focusing on
On the
Anna.
short
Yeah,
stories.
writing the short stories. What are the process of creating these short stories through you?
Well, when I take a look at all my short
Uh
stories, they're
huh.
basically in two categories.
Uh
They're
huh.
either about my dad
Okay.
or the family, but
Uh
he's
huh.
the center of it,
Okay.
or myself as a woman.
Okay.
So it's either love related,
Mm-hmm.
um, but it really, most of my writings focus on my identity as a woman,
Okay.
as a Canadian Italian. What does
Mm-hmm.
that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Identity on many levels. So, and
Okay.
even my plays focus
Yes.
on identity, even the second one, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I've always questioned who I am because I
Okay.
am different.
How
Uh,
so?
I I've always been different in the sense that I don't follow the crowd. I've
Okay.
always done things my way.
Mm-hmm.
I've always I've always loved having friends or partners that were different.
Yeah.
I don't like to be told you can do this or you can't do this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate getting to know people, but understanding humanity. And that's why I
Mm-hmm.
love teaching, right?
Okay.
Because I teach adults. So I have met students from all over the world.
Okay.
That cross cultural experience is what really enriches me as a human being, as a writer, and as a
Yeah.
teacher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And any you know, and again, let's just go. Like, I want to focus more on the short stories. So, how how, like, what's the process to writing the short story? Like, how we mentioned that, of your identity and everything, but how do you make the page come out on? Sorry, the words. Sorry, come out onto paper. How does
Oh
how does
no,
it happen?
that's inspiration for me. So
Okay.
every writer is different.
Yes.
So for me,
Yeah.
whenever I get inspired,
Uh huh.
I just write everything. And
Okay.
then I go back to it and, as you know, proofread and I go through the draft.
Hmm.
And sometimes that can, like, I can go through it 10, 15, 20
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. And it's,
But the meat of it
yes.
um, just comes to me right away.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So, but
Yeah.
every writer is different.
Yeah, I know, but you know what? It's it's funny to say this because because I also know some other writers too,
Mhm.
and they've been working on the same screenplay for the past like 3 4 years, and they're
Mhm.
always proofreading. But like at one point, I was just like, all right, well, let me know what the final version is. So then they send me emails, final version one, final. I'm like, all right, this is like a 40th final version. All right,
I
final.
can relate to that. I can relate to
Yeah,
that.
but yeah, no, it's just but it's hilarious and it's good at the same time, So I'm like, all right, so this is it. So then as soon as I press open, I'm like, well, final, final version 2.0.
That's
That's
me. That's me. That's me. Yeah.
yeah, man, but but yeah, no,
And there's
actually,
still another final.
no, 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 that's good. That's good. That's good. But is it so how do you face, and this is a question I want to ask most screenwriters, and obviously I know you, so I want to ask you're the first person I want to ask this. How do you face writer's block?
I don't have writer's block. Okay,
Oh,
this is
okay.
how I work. This is
Okay.
how I operate. When I get inspired,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of where I am,
Yes.
when the muse hits me,
Yes.
I just write.
Okay.
And for example, with my second play,
Yes.
before I started with all the drafts, the meat
Yes.
of it
Yeah.
took me 10 days.
Okay, all right, that's. I thought you were gonna say 10 hours, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, you know what? Kudos to you. 10 hours. You
No,
work
10 days is good.
10 days and 10 hours. Like, and you worked on it for 10 hours, or is this 10 days?
10 days and I have two jobs. So not bad.
Not
10
bad.
days is not bad.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That is intense. That is intense. And and you just write through,
I just
or
write through and then I go back to it and I go back to it and I go back to it, as you
okay.
know. But
Okay.
the meat of it is there.
Yes.
But some writers are the
Hmm.
opposite.
Yeah.
They want every paragraph or every page to be perfect. So I've come to the realization, or I've accepted the fact that there is no perfection.
Hmm.
I can write a piece and
Hmm.
I can edit and proofread it a billion
And
times.
it's still not gonna be perfect, right?
No,
Wow.
because someone else can look at it and see something that could improve it. So I'm not aiming for perfection. I'm just aiming for when it feels right and when it feels like it's me. It's
Okay.
my expression, because the thing is, when we're writing,
Yeah.
we are expressing ourselves to an
Mm-hmm.
audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very unselfish act to write, because you're sharing something that is
Mm-hmm.
usually very personal and
Mm-hmm.
intimate, and you're
Mm-hmm.
sharing it to the world, and you know that you may face judgment, right?
Yeah, that's
Some
the
will
worst. Yeah.
like, some
Yeah.
won't. It's the same thing with my first play.
Yeah.
I've had some close friends, just they loved it, and others that criticized it to no end. But at the end of the day, I say, you know what? I did my best with the tools that I had, the finances that I had. I produced it alone. And with the timing that I had and all that, I did my best. And it's the same thing in the classroom, right? Some students will have writer's block as well, if they can't write. And I always encourage them to be imperfectly perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to make mistakes. That's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay to make mistakes. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking for expression. See, there's a difference.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you mean by expression and perfection?
For me, whenever we write something down, we're expressing ourselves through the written form, right?
Okay.
Not, through the oral form. But whenever we're writing, we
Yeah.
can always improve how we say it. And there is no 100%. There is no perfect way of
Mm-hmm.
writing anything.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
there is a way that will express how you want it conveyed. You see the difference?
Yes, yes, I see the difference. Okay. Okay, so all right. So yeah, no, for your plays you must have gone through like 100 people and then you've been getting like
No, this time
no,
around, no.
okay, you
This
just
time around, I'm keeping it a little bit more private.
okay.
It's done. It's finished. Maybe a little tweaky here there, but
Hmm.
it's done.
Okay.
And yeah, people will just watch it when it's time.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So going back again to the plays, what kind of genre would you say that your play is centered around?
My new one.
But yeah, your new one and also the previous one. Like
Oh,
what
they're
would
very
you
different,
okay.
because the first one is a semi biographical piece that took place in 1979.
Okay. Yeah.
And Mariana is 19, but in 1979 I wasn't 19. I was only 9. So it's a retro piece.
Okay.
There were some historical facts that actually took place in Quebec. And
Mhm.
I always do that in my writing. Whenever I am creating anything, I always like to give historical facts or factual information about the scene, right?
Okay. Okay.
So I don't know if I can really give myself a label like that. Everything is from a feminist perspective. I would say more of a socio-feminist, because I'm not a hardcore feminist in any way,
Uh-huh.
um, and more leaning towards humanist, because the
Mhm.
message behind the first play is about dreams, and how when we have someone who believes in us, regardless of what happens, when we have someone who actually believes in us, and that could be a father, in my case it was my dad, it could be an aunt, it could be a friend, it could be anyone who believes in your dreams, that makes all the difference in the
Yeah, for
world,
sure. For
right?
sure. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I understand exactly 100%. That you know what, follow your dreams, but at the same time, it'll be kind of nice to, you know, get that support as well, and it always is. So what's the message that you yourself want to convey? You said that there are messages here previously, but like, what's the message that you want people to try and understand?
In my first or in my second?
Oh no. So when I ask these questions,
It's
it's
in
not
general.
exactly. I was gonna add in general. I don't know why I said that. Sorry, folks. Back to the action.
I don't know because my writing is varied. It doesn't always focus on the same theme.
Okay.
The only theme that's the same is my identity as a daughter, my identity as a woman, as a
Okay.
lover, as a
Okay.
teacher, so it really centers on identity, but also on perseverance, on strength, on overcoming challenges,
Okay.
and really understanding our humanity, which has its dark side,
Mhm.
right, and its bright side.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, okay. And now this is gonna be a question. I'm curious to what your answer is. So
Mm.
who you mentioned that your family they inspired you, but from
No,
an
my dad inspired
yeah,
me.
yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I was gonna say your dad, but I'm like, I didn't. I just didn't want to focus on just dad because whenever I tell some the whole, these people inspired you, and they're like, no, once. That's why I'm like, I want to include just to make sure, like, no, But yeah,
Yeah.
you're that. So I'm talking about from an author's point of view. Like we all have like, this director or just comic inspired me. Who inspired you to write? Like who inspired you? Like
Sylvia Plath. She was an American poet.
okay, Sylvia Plath. Okay,
Sylvia
that's
Plath. And in terms of directors, I'm very retro. I love the 50s and 60s. Elia
mm-hmm.
Kazan, right?
Yeah, Elia Kazan's
Ah,
one of them. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay. What
so
yeah,
well, in both cases, they focused on identity and the struggle of the
okay,
human experience. I think I
okay.
can really relate to that.
Okay, yeah, okay. No, Elena Kazan. Yeah, no. I just read a few of her works, but I'm like, yeah, it was pretty. No, because I had to reread them because when I was
Elia Kazan. He was
yeah.
a male filmmaker from the
Oh crap.
50s.
There we
You
go.
know
Okay.
James Dean, Rebel Without a
Yes.
Cause, East of
Yes.
Eden. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. That's interesting. That's that's really interesting. But so going back to you now.
Mhm.
So any other projects that you're focusing the same theme on upcoming projects
Yes.
besides this play or go
Yes.
ahead. Yeah.
There's a short story
Uh-huh.
that I got translated in Italian
Beautiful.
2 years ago.
Okay.
During the early pandemic, I did a lot of writing.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, 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 yeah. We all had
that's how it
holidays.
started.
Mhm,
I
mhm,
was writing articles as well,
mhm.
um, and so I finished this short story called "The Diary of a Stupid Woman," and it got translated in Italian
Okay.
by Anna Foschi. She lives in BC.
Mhm,
Wonderful woman.
mhm.
And I originally wrote this short story 20 years ago. It was written in dedication of my former mother in law, Lena. I was very
Mm,
close to
mm.
her. She passed away in 2012.
My condolences.
Thank you. But we still remained close, even though I divorced her son. Anyways,
Okay.
she was very special to me.
Uh-huh.
And I had promised her that one day the diary of a stupid woman will be seen or will be published, and so it will be. I'm going to have an Italian actress from Rome who's going to do a theatrical piece in Italy. She's going to do it in Italy, and she's going to turn it into kind of like it's a monologue, because my short story is in monologue form. The Diary of a Stupid Woman is takes place in 1968,
Mhm.
and it's about a young woman who was born here, who is Italian, who marries an immigrant.
Okay.
So it's very interesting, and if all goes well, that will be a short film, but not
Nice.
film, more theatrical monologue style,
Okay, okay,
and in
interesting.
Italian. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Actually, the word that caught me on that you mentioned is monologue, and this, and I want to ask this. So your short stories are they all that style? Like
No,
I know
no,
a monologue format. Okay, so
no,
it's
no. They're all very different. Yeah.
okay, perfect.
They're. I really like. Oh yes, something that most people have commented on,
Uh huh.
even in my plays, is
Yeah.
that I always tend to use the poetic form in my writings. So I tend to be very poetic, and I'll even throw in poetry.
Okay.
It kind of like follows me everywhere I go,
Okay.
because in essence, that's who I am. I see life through the eyes of a poet.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, by the way, that's a good title there. So you heard
Yeah,
this here.
one day, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
One
you heard
day.
this here on Dirty Four, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, all right. Then you know what? That's really beautiful. That's really beautiful, Anna. And how do you And I'm just curious. And how do you do you write all these plays and short stories? Do you write them all by hand, or do you write them like or do you type them out?
No, now I typed them out. I used to. No,
Hmm.
poetry. Let me think. Poetry is usually by hand, and then I type. Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, yeah.
interesting.
Only
Interesting.
because I started writing poetry when I was 13,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately, that's a long time ago. So it's habit forming, you
Oh yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
then I'll type it, but not my short stories. No.
Okay, okay. No, well, no, that's interesting because, well, I mean, for me, like, I've always been writing my stuff. I don't know, I've always been typing, but then, I saw some documentaries and people telling me, oh, writing it by hand is best because it helps you, it makes you remember more. I'm like, ah, okay. So that's why, like, I'm asking, screenwriters, playwriters, if you write your stuff by hand. So I guess has
I
something to do
don't,
with
you
retaining
know
memories,
what?
but yeah.
I don't believe in telling people how to get inspired. I believe in guiding people in what inspires them. So
Okay.
you need to figure out, Claudio,
Yes.
how when
Uh-huh.
you get inspired.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
everyone is different. I mean, some people write, some
Yeah.
people type, some people record, some people meditate. Everyone is different. So you have to find what works for you. Maybe
Mm.
when while you're performing, you get inspired. Who knows?
Yeah.
You're a
Yeah.
performer, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. That's what people say. I'm a performer, but no.
so there. Well, that's it. So you need to find your niche.
Yeah. Exactly. Everybody. I was just gonna mention that.
Don't listen to other people.
Yeah.
Find
Yeah.
your own
I
niche.
was just
What
gonna mention
works?
that. Like everybody has a niche, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's really inspiring. It's really uh, words can't describe it. So another question. What is you know, ho- is it because I'm trying not to sound like like an idiot, so don't mind me.
You'll
Um,
never sound like an idiot to me. Come on, ask me
thank you, thank
anything.
you.
Just
How
the
long?
light, eh? The light is reflecting.
It's beautiful. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Do you know how long your plays are? Your
My
pages of
first
play.
play, yes, because we filmed it, and I'm going to do the same thing with the second one. I'm going to
Okay.
film it,
Uh-huh.
and then publish it on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
privately.
Mm-hmm.
My first play was 1 hour and 10 minutes.
Okay.
My second one is a bit longer. I would say my second one is about an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 25 minutes.
Okay. Do you tell yourself when you're writing when you're writing plays, these the running time has to be this, or do you just
No,
write and
no,
write
no,
and
no,
write and
no,
write and write?
no. Now, for me, it doesn't make a difference if it's an hour and 10 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
The story needs to be told.
Yeah. Quality
No.
over quantity. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a control freak that way. I'm a control freak in other ways, but not in that way.
Okay, yeah, no, okay, it's interesting. No, it was actually a question because I'm asking other screenwriters. Oh, you have to follow the Woody Allen way. Woody Allen, like, he doesn't have his plays more than movies more than like 90 like an hour and a half. And I'm like, that is very interesting. Woody Allen and his words on screenplay writing.
But maybe for Woody Allen, that
Yeah.
worked for him because maybe he's a bit, I don't know, repetitive, redundant in what he says. So he had to give himself a time frame to avoid all that.
Yeah.
Like I said, everyone is different. For me, the story needs to be told. I mean, of course, we're not going to stay 10 hours on stage either. And
that could be a world record one day, but
that wouldn't be fair to the actors, would it? But the thing is, again, you're writing. That's just step one.
Yeah, exactly.
Then the actors have to read it. Then they have to bring it to life. And as you're rehearsing with the actors and all that, you will be adding and making some modifications, Claudio. You'll be saying, oh, this, you know what, let's just fine tune it a bit. Or, you know what, let's change the song. That song really doesn't fit. So you'll be still editing, going through some changes to make the story complete.
Yeah, no, it's
you understand?
Yeah.
So you can't be like this. An hour and 30 minutes. Bye. You can't do that.
Oh yeah, no, I understand you. No, that's why, like, I was talking with other fellow podcasts, like, oh, you gotta make sure your podcast is not only an hour. I'm like, well, that's why, like, I can make it go for 3 hours or 46 minutes. And for me, what I believe is quality over quantity. So that to me plays a huge factor.
Hey, how come you don't have my family name? You just have Anna.
Well, no, you could put in your own name. Your full name. You just put Anna Panunto. So,
how do I do that?
Well, hold on. Give me a sec. How do you go? Hold on.
You see, Claudio. See, that's the teacher in me. Claudio Capri. Oh, we don't see Panunto.
Oh, hold on. Well, we could. Okay. No. So when you walk in, so when you come in and put in your name, you can put in your full name. You don't have to only put in your first name.
So it's my fault. I should have put.
Yeah, you should have. Yeah, you should have. You should have. Hold on.
You can't go back now.
No, we can. P-A-N-U-N.
Don't misspell it.
P-A-N-N-U-N-T-O.
No,
right?
it's P-A-N-U-N-T-O.
There we go.
Bravo.
There we go. We learned something on this. We learned something. But hey, you know what? As I mentioned, we're all learning something every single day. All right. So this is I already had questions here that you've already been answering me. That have been answered. So
quick
now
and painless, huh?
Quick and painless, or painful, whatever you want to say, So Anna, just before we go, what I usually do here is ask my guests, to do their plugins. Where can people find you and that whole shtick? So where can people find you?
Do I want people to find me?
Or not? You could be off the earth, and then after give yourself an alias when you have your play. So we'll call yourself Anna. You know what? For Panunto on stage, we'll put 2 N's, so then people can mess.
Don't you dare!
I'll put guys Panunto with 2 N's because she doesn't want to be found and everything.
Somehow I don't know why people put 2 N's, or you know what I hate? Paludo. One time someone misspelled my family name as Paludo. Oh
wow! At least no, you know what? I'll give you one even worse. Someone misspelled, and I did a comedy show not too long ago. Someone misspelled my name with a K, Claudio, and I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I was salty, and even like the other comics are looking at me and they're trying to like, well, Claudio's with a C. I'm like, oh my god, like that felt salty. Like nothing embarrasses you more
Mhm.
than having your name spelt wrong, whether it's your
Yes.
first name or your family name. I don't know. That's just me. So I
Well, with
maybe
my name, it's kind of easy. My first name, Anna.
yeah. Oh no,
Just some.
people. Oh no, people can mess up. They can mess. You know what? They could let forget an N and just have Anna A.
Yes, yes, yes. Because in some countries, Anna is spelled with one N.
That's true.
In Latin countries, Anna is A-N-A.
Yeah,
It's pronounced the same way though,
yeah,
and even
exactly.
in some Eastern European countries.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But Panunto, you can't mess
You
that up.
can't mess up Panunto.
It's okay. It's okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put two N's and add a T. So then we'll see. Well, then people will be confused, and that's what you want them to. No, I'm kidding. No, no. So that's it. So all right. So ladies and gentlemen, usually we plug it in. So Anna, you don't. So you don't want the people to find you. It's okay. I
I'm
understand.
on Facebook. I'm on
There we go. There
Instagram.
we
But
go.
yeah,